welcome back to another episode of our Disney Princess Challenge. As you can see, we are here with Prince Florian and we are at his house today. We are just visiting him and his family, and we are going to be introducing you to the royals. He is just going to be letting his family know about Snow and the children because he thinks it's high time his family knows what he's been up to lately. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. So he's just going to let Queen Anne know what's going on with him, and he wants her to know that he has found someone really special. So he is just kind of filling her in on where he's been going because she's like, you know, I've noticed that you've been sneaking off a little bit lately. And he's like, yeah, I really have. And she's like, you know, what have you been up to? And he's like, well, you know, I've been still doing my duties. And she's like, I'm not saying that you've been slacking off, but I have noticed that you've been sneaking off lately. And I've just been wondering what you're up to. And he's like, well, I kind of met someone. And she's like, you've met someone? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, you know, usually we would set you up with a princess. And he's like, well, that's just the thing, Mom. She is a princess. And she's like, oh? And he's like, yeah. He's like, she's in hiding though, but I went ahead and I proposed to her and we're engaged. And she's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And he's like, I'm in love. I'm in love with her and I want to spend my life with her, and we're engaged. We're going to have a long engagement because, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on with her. She is in hiding from her stepmother, who is an evil queen, and I guess this lady wants her dead. And she's like, are you kidding? And he's like, no. He's like, but there's more. And she's like, what do you mean there's more? And he's like, well, we had children. And she's like, you have children? And he's like, I have 2 boys. And she's like, you have 2 sons and you didn't tell me? And he's like, we've kind of been keeping everything hush hush, Mom. I wasn't really sure if I could tell you because I didn't want you to panic and I didn't want you to storm over there. And, you know, Snow was really worried. And she's like, her name's Snow? That's lovely. And he's like, she is lovely. So I think Queen Anne is, you know, a little bit shocked by this news, but she is overall, you know, happy for him. She's just wants her son, obviously, to be happy. She wants him to, you know, obviously have love, and it seems that he has found that. And the fact that he did find royalty makes her happy. But as she has told him, you know, you have to tell your father. So we are going to go ahead and get the king to come down, and he is going to have to tell his father the news. So Florian is just going to have to share this information with his father, and he's going to have to tell him the same information. So he's like, Dad, there are some things that I have to tell you. And he's like, oh, what is it, son? And he's like, so I was just sharing with Mom that I have met someone and she is of royal noble blood. And he's like, well, that's good. And, I mean, you can't just meet somebody off the street, you know. And he's like, yeah, but Dad, she's kind of into a little bit of trouble. There's someone that wants her dead, you know, and she's kind of hiding out. So, unfortunately, you know, she can't like come to the palace and meet you guys or, you know, be introduced to society or anything like that. Like, we have to keep our relationship a secret. And so we are engaged, but it's like, it's going to be a long engagement. And I don't know. And he's like, well, there's got to be something that we can do. Maybe we can get involved and we can do something with this evil queen and bring her out into the open and we can persecute her. And he's like, I don't think it's going to be that simple, Dad. I really don't. Like, I've already brought these things up to Snow, and she's really concerned with the fact that she doesn't want to bring anybody into the picture. She doesn't want anyone to get involved. She's really worried about the consequences of other people getting involved. And he's like, well, okay, but I would really like to meet this girl. And he's like, I think that you're going to end up having to go to her house to meet her. And he's like, okay. And he's like, also, I have 2 sons. And he's like, you have 2 sons? And he's like, I do. And he's like, oh, my son, that's wonderful news. And he's like, yeah, it is. But again, we're all in hiding. And he's like, that's okay. It'll all get worked out. We'll get everything worked out. He's like, I would like for us to all be able to meet Snow, though. So if you could let her know that we know about her and the boys and that at some point we'd like to come to her place and meet her, that would be really swell. And Florian's like, I will, you know, let her know this information. I'll obviously let her know that I've told you guys about her and the boys and that you guys want to meet her. and hopefully she'll be okay with you guys going. But honestly, I think you guys going to her house is going to bring a lot of attention over there. You guys can't really go anywhere without someone knowing where you're going because you're the king and the queen. So everyone knows everything that you guys do. And how are you going to just sneak over there without bringing attention to her? And they're like, we'll figure it out, even if we have to go in disguise or sneak over there. And he's like, okay. So Prince Florian is feeling so much better. He's feeling really, really confident that his dad and his mom now know about Snow and his boys, and that they're going to be involved in their lives, and that he has someone in his corner that is going to be able to be involved. And now that his dad knows, he realizes that he has backup, and hopefully they'll be able to figure out a way to get Snow out of the trouble that she's in. He's not really sure what that plan is that they're going to be able to concoct, but he does know that his dad is a really smart man, and his dad will help him figure out how to get Snow out of the predicament that she's in. So he loves the fact that he finally got up the courage to share this information with them. And he thinks it's a great plan that they get to meet her and the boys. And so he's feeling really great about this. And he finally feels relieved that he's finally told someone that he has found the person that he wants to spend his life with. So we're just going to go ahead and let him go ahead and get something to eat here. I'm going to go ahead and get the king and queen to come in and grab themselves a serving as well. And then we'll go ahead and let everyone get themselves a bite to eat. And we will just have them have supper together here. And they'll continue to discuss Snow. And they kind of just want to know like what she's about. And they're like, so tell us about her. And he's like, well, she's a fair maiden and she's lovely. Like, she's really kind to all creatures. And she's just the sweetest thing ever. And I just think she's really great. And as you can see, it looks like they have a sentiment, him and his mom, and he thinks that he thinks she's adoring. I think that's great. So we are just telling the parents about Snow, and they're trying to kind of get an idea of how she is. Because they just want to know like what kind of girl caught their son's eye, because as you know, they've been trying to get him to find someone that he wants to get in a relationship with to potentially marry for a really long time, because as we know, he is the heir. And to them, they were like, you have a legacy to uphold and you need to have a wife and you need to have children. And he was always really against that. And now he's found someone he wants to marry. And not only that, but he has children. And to them, this is all very, very sudden. They're very proud and they're very happy that, this turn of events has happened. But they're like, who is this girl that has just like made him do a 180? And so they're just really kind of shocked by this whole, turn of events. Happy, but just shocked. So we're just going to go ahead and get everyone to take care of their needs. We're going to clean up a little bit, put the food away, and everyone's going to go ahead and head off to bed because it is starting to get a little bit late. And then when we get up in the morning, we're going to go ahead and we'll have Florian probably go ahead and head over to see Snow tomorrow, and he will tell her about the news of his parents knowing about her, and he's going to have to explain to her that, they are understanding of her situation, and that also, though, they want to be involved. So everyone's just going to go ahead now, and we're going to head everyone off to sleep and get them some rest for the night. Look at her. She's like, I'm just going to climb up this ladder here and go on to bed. King's like, I'm not even waiting on you. Just get yourself into bed, woman. All right, let's go ahead and get her into bed here, and then we will go ahead and we will see you in the morning. All right, so it is the next morning, and as you can see, Florian is up. He is just going to go ahead and go downstairs and grab himself a bite to eat. He is starting to feel a little bit hungry, so he's just going to go and grab himself a leftover plate of this grilled cheese, and he will help himself to that. And then we'll probably go ahead and let him maybe work on some skill building and just kind of pass a little bit of time. It's still a little bit too early to go over to Snow's house, and so he's just going to pass a little bit of time. It does look like, unfortunately, the king is feeling a little bit like he is missing Anne. So King Andrew is just like, I miss my wife. I want to be a little bit romantic with her. So we may at some point later on let them have a little bit of marital time together so that they can feel like they are, bonded again, because he's missing his wife a little bit. But we are just going to go ahead and have Florian clean up a little bit. And it looks like he's trying to chase his dad down to have a little bit of a conversation. I think he's just going to tell his dad, like, I'm heading over to see Snow today, and I'm going to tell her all about you guys knowing that I've talked to you, and I'm going to let her know that you guys are going to want to come at some point and see her and talk to her and, get to know her a little bit. I think that's probably going to make her happy that she knows that you guys know about her, but probably a little bit apprehensive about the fact that you're going to want to be involved. And so it's going to take a little bit of convincing that, no one's going to be in harm's way and you're not going to put her life or you guys' life or mine or the children's life in danger. And King Andrew is like, I completely understand where she would be coming from, and I don't want to do anything to put anyone's life in danger either. So please just let her know that, we respect her fear and that we're not going to do anything to harm her. And Queen Anne is like, we would never do anything to hurt her or the boys. Never, ever. And Florian's like, I know that. And I just think that she's just irrational when it comes to her fears. And I don't know that Snow is irrational. I think she knows that the queen is extremely evil. And she knows the potential of harm that is capable. And so she's just definitely taking those risks very seriously. So I am going to go ahead. I'm going to have Florian go and travel over to Snow's house. He is clearly having some issues right now, where he's just kind of wandering around the house. But I'm just going to go ahead and send him off and let him go and visit Snow. And we'll go see her. And we will have that conversation with her and let her know that everyone is on her side and that we obviously want to get to know her. And by we, the parents. So let's go see Snow. All right, so Florian has arrived here at Snow's house, and we are just going to go ahead and have him knock on the door. He's going to see if she'll let him in, and of course she's going to let him in. He's going to go ahead and go on in here and go see the boys and just give them a little bit of a cuddle. It's been a little while since he's seen them, and of course he misses them dearly. So we're going to go and see Forrest and Ash, and he's going to give them a little bit of a cuddle here and just love on them. And he's going to greet Snow and just tell her, hey, how are you doing? And I've missed everybody so much. And she's like, oh, we're doing really, really well. I'm so glad to see you as well. We were hoping that you were going to come by today. And he's like, yeah, I'm really sorry that I didn't come by yesterday, but I had a lot of things kind of on my plate and I really just didn't get a chance to come by. And she's like, oh, what was going on? And he's like, actually, that's something that I really needed to talk to you about. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah. Do you have time to have a little bit of a conversation? And she's like, always. He's like, okay, when you get a chance and you're not dealing with the boys, let's go have a little bit of a talk. And she's like, okay. So she's going to go ahead and take care of Forrest here for a minute, and then we're going to have them have a little bit of a conversation. So he's like, I just wanted to let you know that I took the chance and had a bit of a talk with my parents. And she's like, you did? And he's like, I did. She's like, how did that go? And he's like, well, I just told them about you and about the boys. And she's like, how did they take it? And he's like, actually, they were a little shocked, but I think overall they handled it really well. And she's like, really? And he's like, yeah, they were really happy that I found somebody that I love. And obviously they were really excited about the boys. They want to meet you, and they know that you are scared to come to the castle, and so they said they'd come here even if they have to disguise themselves, but they want to meet you. And she's like, I don't know. And he's like, I know that you're scared, but they really do want to meet you, and they said they would respect everything that you've set up and all of that, but that at some point we're going to have to talk about how we can get you out of this mess. And she's like, I understand that. And he's like, they've both said that they're not going to do anything to put any of us, you, the children, myself, them in harm's way. But at the end of the day, honey, you do need to be gotten out of this mess somehow. And she's like, I understand that. And he's like, I love you very much and they're going to love you too. And she's like, okay. And he's like, all right. He's like, can we go in and have some alone time? And she's like, yeah, of course. So they're going to go into the bedroom and they're going to have themselves a little bit of a woohoo here. As we know, that is something that they do generally whenever they get together. But it seems that, Snow is feeling a little bit like she's glad that his parents know about her, but she's also a little bit scared that they are involved or going to be involved. She's a little bit worried that they're going to want to kind of take over and take the reins and kind of pull her out of her bubble here, and she's not really sure how that's going to go. And so I think that Florian is just trying to convince her that everything's going to go okay and she doesn't have to be worried, and that, if anything, everybody's going to keep her safe. And she's not quite sure if that is the case, and she's trying to be positive and she's trying not to be anxious over it. But as we know, this is Snow we're talking about. So as you can see, Florian's just taking care of Forrest here. They are so cute together. And he is just loving on his son and bonding with him, which is super, super cute. I love to see him taking care of the boys and helping Snow with the children. And he is going to obviously make sure that he spends a lot of time not only with the boys but with Snow, making sure that Snow is comfortable and is not anxious, because he does know that she is feeling a little bit anxious, and he knows a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's told her the information that he's told her. So he does just want to make sure that she's okay. He does want her to know that no matter what, her safety is going to come first and the boy's safety is going to come first, and that everyone's going to respect her wishes, and that she gets to be the one that makes these decisions. No one's going to force her hand. She is the one that's in control here. And if she says, no, we're going to do it my way, they're going to listen to her. But obviously, if it gets out of control or it starts going on a little bit too long, that there may be the potential that someone's going to step in and say, okay, enough is enough. So he's just going to tell her, like, for now, like, everyone's taking your lead. We're letting you run things. But at the same time, like, my parents want to meet you, and I don't think that's too big of an ask. And she's like, I just don't want anything to happen to you guys. This danger is real. And he's like, we understand that. And she's like, okay. He's like, I just want you to know how much I love you. I really, you're my everything. And she's like, I love you too, Florian. I really do. That's why I'm so worried. And he's like, you don't have to worry for me, because we're going to do things your way. And she's like, all right, love. So they are clearly in love, like, clearly. And so she's feeling so much better knowing that he is going to keep her safe. And she's like, right now she's just like loving on him, but she's like, I'm so glad that your parents want to meet me, and I will think about, setting up some time for them to come over and meet me, and we'll plan for that. And he's like, really? And she's like, well, yeah. And he's like, that means so much to me. And she's like, well, I want to meet your parents too. Like, and I want the boys to know their family. So obviously this is something that needs to happen. She's like, I'm just really scared. But she's like, but I can't let fear run my life either. So we'll make it happen. And he's like, I'm so glad you feel that way. And she's like, obviously I want us to be a family. I want to be part of your family, and we're going to spend our lives together. So I've got to make this work, and I've got to let this happen. She's like, I just get scared. And he's like, I know. So they are going to obviously go ahead and make plans for this to happen. She's going to come to terms with this and, get this all set up for them, which is going to be fantastic. And so soon we will be seeing his parents come and visit with Snow here at her house so that they can meet her and the boys. which is going to be fantastic. And I can't wait for that to take place, because we definitely want them to be meeting everyone, which is going to be really, really great. And, Florian is really excited about that because, he has been waiting so long to find the special someone for his life and for his parents to meet the love of his life and for him to have that dynamic and that love that his parents have. And he's found that now. And so he definitely wants to share that with his family. He wants to share her and his boys with his family. And so the fact that she's willing to allow that to take place has made him extremely happy. And so we are just going to see that be taking place in probably the next episode. And that is going to be really, really great. I am just going to go ahead and let Florian get himself a little bit of a bath. He's feeling a little bit grunge. But I am going to go ahead and leave this episode off here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode of Disney Princess Challenge, where we are going to be back with Snow in her house, and we'll be planning a visit from the royals so that they can meet Snow and the boys. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.